Let's go, girls. Come on!
We're back! Oh, well, it's been too long. I've been wondering where I've been, never mind all of you. Thankfully, I'm in the third week of treatment, so I'm sort of 85% nuts, e.g. 85% down. It's really been this morning actually that it sort of hit me that I'm feeling okay, which is amazing. So we're back for episode 10 and it's time to change things up a bit, as you'll have heard with the new intro music. And you have to place your bets, please. You can leave comments on either the YouTube or the YouTube video, or on the Ravelry forum on the episode 10 thread, because this is episode 10, can you believe it? Who was playing drums on that track, I wonder. So welcome to episode 10, and welcome to a whole new section. We promised you some new stuff. I've already said it's time to change things up. And I'm guessing some of you, and I know actually I've seen some comments from one or two different people, why is it called the Bakery Bears? Now I know we've spoken about it, and our core following will know the reason why, but it's time to do some baking. Kay loves baking, I love eating baking, or baked things, and yeah, for the next few episodes, who knows how long, we're going to be trying a new cake every episode. So Kay will bake the cake, and then we will try the cake, and we'll try it out, and we'll give it a score. But what we'll also do is we'll also make sure that the cakes we pick are ones that you can access online as well. And if you look in the notes on the YouTube video, you will see a link to where this recipe is, so you can go get it, follow Kay's instructions, and try making it yourself. And what we'd really like to see is we would love to see, we'll start a thread on the forum, we would love to see your cakes. Now, will they have to put some knitting in there as well to get them on Ravelry, Kay?
I'm not sure, I'll have a think.
Yeah, but...
No, not if it's in a thread, I don't think. I think it'll be okay in a thread.
Yeah, well, let's give it a go anyway, shall we?
Yes.
Do you think? Cool. Okay, so without further ado, you need to know what this section's called. It's called What's in Your Oven? And who knows, in episodes to follow, I know we'll be asking certain people what's in your oven. But it's now time for me to introduce today's guest baker. She'll probably be guest baking most episodes, although maybe it'd be quite funny if I had a go once. I used to bake cakes. I remember making a lemon curd sponge once with grated flake all over it that was absolutely delicious. I think Kay tried to recreate it though. Did you?
I did, but
it was too rich.
I don't think you gave me the instructions right.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, maybe I'll have a go in future episodes. Who knows how that'll turn out. But for now, let's go over to Kay, because it's time to bake. And here she is, designer of Mr. and Mrs. Bakery Bear and chef extraordinaire, it's Kay Jones.
I'm really not chef extraordinaire, I'd just like to point out.
Baker extraordinaire.
I'm not that either, I just like to bake. So, shall I say shall I tell everybody what we're going to make?
Let's tell them.
I wanted to make things that were kind of traditionally English. Because there could be a lot of you out there that have not heard of this and want to try it. So, we're starting off this week with... Chelsea buns.
Hooray!
Can you see that? Now everybody in England will be going, oh, I love Chelsea buns, or oh, I've heard of those, or I've never tried them, or whatever. But I think most people in England will know what a Chelsea bun is. So, and
I think the great thing about a Chelsea bun is I've never met anyone who said, oh no, they're horrible.
No.
Most people like a Chelsea bun.
I would say, yeah. And this recipe is by the great Paul Hollywood. Paul Hollywood from the Great British Bake Off.
Not from Mannequin.
I don't know who that is.
That's, didn't I remember Arsenio Hall in Mannequin? You know Mannequin with Kim Cattrall, and there was the black guy in it, and he was Hollywood. That was his name. Hollywood.
I remember now.
The window dresser.
I remember now.
Carry on.
So you can find this online, BBC Food.
The link is on the bottom of your screen.
Well done. Okay, and I have made Chelsea buns before, but it was many years ago, and this recipe is quite different to the one that I did. But it's Paul Hollywood, so really, you know, you've got to trust him.
I wonder if our friends over the seas will know Bake Off.
They might not do.
Have a look out for
It's on at the moment.
the Great British Bake Off.
Yeah, it's on. It's a BBC programme, so you can get it on BBC iPlayer.
Yes.
Great British Bake Off. I think we've got about 3 weeks left to go, I think, before the final. So this is what we're going to have a go at making.
Talk us through the ingredients.
The ingredients, okay. I feel like Delia. Right.
I'm just pondering if you're as sexy as Delia.
No. Delia's way sexier. I've got to say, Delia is, yeah. So a Chelsea bun is basically a bread dough. It's a sweetened bread, I guess, with other ingredients in. So we've got strong bread flour.
Why strong?
Because it has to be strong when you're making bread. It's to do with the gluten, I think.
Right.
So strong white flour, salt, yeast that's the faster action dried yeast, unsalted butter, an egg, that's butter again, 2 oranges.
Nice pair.
It's just the zest that you need from the oranges, but 2 oranges, some soft brown sugar, which is here, ground cinnamon, and then your fruit. So we've got dried cranberries, sultanas, and apricots. And then to finish off, you just put a sugar glaze on, which we'll do
What's a sugar glaze?
when it's all done. It's basically icing sugar, water, and I think, and a bit of apricot jam.
Lovely.
It's just like a sticky sugary glaze that goes on top.
So that's all the ingredients?
That's all the ingredients.
What utensils do we need?
What utensils do we need?
Bowls,
Well,
scales.
a bowl, a set of scales. You need it, so I mean, you can need it in a machine. I do have a machine, but I'm going to do it by hand because Paul Hollywood says do it by hand.
Hollywood!
So that's what I'm doing.
What about...
And what I will say about baking, and some people say this is a load of old rubbish, but baking...
Is this one of... This is the first. We should have a little tune for this.
Should we?
Kay's top tip. Or Bakery Bear's baking tips.
Well, it's not just my tip, but baking is a science, right? And some people say, oh, just slop, you know, it doesn't matter if you get a bit more of that and a bit less of that, it does matter. That's the most important thing. So if it says on here, for example, 500 grams of strong white flour, you want to weigh 500 grams. You don't want 450, you don't want 480, you want 500. It's got to be precise, it does make a difference.
Speaking of precise, what scales are you using?
I'm using some digital scales. I use these for weighing my yarn cakes as well. So it's just some digital scales.
And what make are they?
Salter.
Right. Who got you that?
You.
Yeah, for Christmas. That's nice.
I need it. It's got butter on. Sorry, I've weighed some butter on there. So should we start?
I think we should.
Okay. So the first thing, and I'm following this as we do it. So this is like, you know, really is live action. So first of all, we need to place the flour and the salt in a large mixing bowl. So mixing bowl on the scales, zeroise it, and we need 500 grams. Now I know in America you use cups, and I've no idea how much a cup is, so
Buy some scales and do it properly.
I'm just going to tell you what it weighs. Because my thinking with it, when it's a cup, is what if somebody doesn't fill it exactly to the cup?
Or what if it's a different size cup?
No, all the cups are the same size, they're the same volume, aren't they? So one cup is the same volume.
Is it?
But then what if you don't quite fill it, or what if you pack it down and one person doesn't pack it down, you get more in? I don't, you know, so I would say always weigh it. So 500 grams, 500 exactly. Okay. And then we have a teaspoon of salt. And make sure you get your measurements right. We were watching the other night, and somebody put, instead of putting 2 teaspoons of rose water into something, they put 2 tablespoons.
That was come dine with me.
It was come down with me. So I want a teaspoon, which is that measurement. I'm just double checking it is a teaspoon. Especially with it being salt, you do not want it to be too salty. So I just always kind of level it off to make sure it's right. So there we go, teaspoon of salt. stir it to make a well in the centre and pour in the yeast. Right, so we take that off. Let's get rid of that. Give it a little stirry stir. Just to distribute the salt all the way through the flour. Make a little well, and then we need the yeast. And we need 1 sachet of dried yeast. So, 1 7-gram sachet, and I'm just making sure they are 7 grams because I'd never trust anything. 56 grams, I think that's right. Is that 7 grams? It's got to be, hasn't it? Yeah. Right, so we put all of that in there. Right. I've already done this because it would have been pretty boring. I've warmed up the milk. There's 10 fluid ounces of milk and 40 grams of unsalted butter. So I've already done that. It's warm.
Why is it warm?
Because it activates the yeast,
right.
The warmth. You can, I think, you know, again, some bakers I think put things in cold, but it gives the yeast a kind of a little oomph to get going. Pour into the flour mixture and add the egg, right? So we just pour it all in. Add in the egg.
Come in.
Ooh, nearly lost the shell in there. And then, right, and give it all a mix. Now we want to just get it into a dough now. See, Paul Hollywood would go in there with his hands.
Hollywood.
I'm not quite at that bakery stage. Plus I've got some sort of lurg thing going on at the minute and I don't really want to put my hands in there. And then when we get to this stage...
Consistency is important actually, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I always think you should just trust the recipe. I mean, this does look like a fairly normal dough, bread dough to me. I have made quite a bit of bread in the past. So I'm just going to take all that off there. And now we've got to knead it, give it a good knead for 5 minutes. Are you recording that?
Well, you need to see how to knead, don't
well,
you?
everybody, that's the other thing I'll say. Everybody kneads, I think, in a different way. And if you watch Paul Hollywood, he goes like that and then pulls it back. I mean, I just kind of do this. You see, this is sticky, and this presumably must be how it's meant to be, and you just have to go with it. And because I've seen him do this on the programme, and you see, you know, the competitors going, oh my god, this is way too sticky, or it's way too dry, or whatever. So they add more flour, or they add, you know, they oil it, or something, and it always turns out wrong.
So this is another Bakery Bear's top tip.
Well, I guess it is not, again, it's not my tip, it's Paul Hollywood's tip, but
it's us that's passing it on.
Yeah.
So it's a Bakery Bear top tip.
Yeah.
Trust the recipe,
And
do not add additional flour and oil.
Absolutely trust the recipe. And just, you know, if you follow with baking, I think if you follow the recipe, then I honestly don't think you can go wrong. I do think, you know, it's been tried and tested, and you've just got to go with it. So I'm going to do this for 5 minutes, and when you come back it'll be smooth and elastic and a beautiful ball of dough. Okay, so I'm a little bit exhausted. It took longer than the 5 minutes, and I've just said to Dan, I think it's maybe because Mr. Hollywood is a big beefy fella.
Let's check this consistency there. I think it's important, isn't it? That's looking great, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's now smooth. It bounces back, and it said it should be smooth and elastic, and it kind of, I think the reason it's better to knead it by hand is it does feel different when you've kind of got to that stage. It goes kind of bouncy, and the texture's totally different. I hope you can see from before when it was sticking all over my hands. It's now a smooth, nice smooth round ball. So we now, I'm out of breath. We now pop it, that needs to be greased. I'll just grease that lightly with some oil, and then it can go back in the same bowl. We cover it with cling film, and it just proves for an hour, and it should then double in size. So we're back. Now this should have doubled in size, so should we have a look? Oh my goodness, yes. It's definitely doubled in size, so it's come all poofy. So now we need to take this out and put it onto a lightly floured surface. So basically we're knocking it back. So we give it a punch and it deflates. Oh, it feels really nice. So I hope you can see how lovely that is. Oh gosh, it's really nice.
How big is that floured space?
Well, I don't know how big the floured space is, but we have to put this into a rectangle.
What size?
That's about 12 by 8, it says.
Right.
So I'm just getting it smooth first.
12
inches by
Right.
8 inches. So it needs to be about 12 by 8. Rolling pin. So we just roll it to a rectangle that's 12 by 8. I'm just going to put some of that flour underneath it just to stop it doing anything it shouldn't. So I'm judging what 12 by 8 is and then I'll just give it a measure. Okay, so we've got a rectangle that's roughly 12 by 8. And then what we do, we've got an ounce, which is 25 grams, I think. Yeah, 25 grams of melted, unsalted butter. And we're just going to paint this all the way over. So just slop it all over. It's kind of not for the faint-hearted, this recipe. There's lots of butter, lots of sugar. Okay, so we've spread the butter all over and now we're going to sprinkle it with the orange zest. So orange zest all over.
Is that just one orange?
Just one. We use the other one for later on for the topping.
Right.
So all over. It's quite Christmassy, I think.
Is there any beef or lamb mince in this recipe?
We were watching Friends, weren't we, the other day? Where she made the Rachel...
Cream, custard,
custard.
sponge, beef mince,
Beef sautéed in...
beef sautéed in onions,
Onions and gravy with peas or something, and then peas. Sorry, I'm just washing my hand.
jelly and rum.
So that's the orange zest, and then now we sprinkle over the sugar, and I've already mixed in 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon into the sugar. I've done that so that I know I'm going to get an even mix of cinnamon all the way across.
It's the one where Chandler and Monica tell Ross's parents that they're dating, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And now we do the same thing. I know.
How much sugar's there?
There was 75 grams of soft brown sugar. And then we do the same thing with all the fruits. We've got 100 grams of each of the fruits. So we've got dried cranberries,
Beautiful.
apricots chopped,
Beautiful.
sultanas.
Not so beautiful.
So we do the same thing, sprinkle it all over. I sound like Nigella Lawson. Except not these days. I think this is really Christmassy. How nice would this be?
Festive.
It does smell festive because of the cinnamon and the fruits.
Cinnamon is one of my
And-
favourites.
And it's not one of mine, but I've gone with it because that's what the recipe says. And to be fair, you'll eat most of this. And lastly, the sultanas. And I just think that, wouldn't this be nice though on Christmas morning to have with a coffee?
Yes.
Chelsea bun and a coffee. You're all going to be doing this now, aren't you, Christmas morning? So now what we do is, I'm again following Paul Hollywood, he says to tack down this edge, and I've seen him do this on the TV, and basically he just squashes it down so that it sort of sticks to the, there we go, so it sticks to the work surface.
Oh, are you going to roll this?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. This is exciting.
And then you roll from the other long end. And it says it should be a tight roll. So let's start it going, and I've got a feeling I'm going to be tucking fruit in.
I've got a feeling.
So let's start it, and he says, right, I'm going to get it as tight as I can over
These
that.
buns are going to taste very nice.
Well, we shall see. I'm going to tuck in the fruit in as I go.
We don't want any splittage.
Well, look, it's escaping. I shouldn't really say this until I've done it.
You old fruit.
Look, it's gone on the floor. I'm stepping on cranberries now. Right.
Look at this. It's like a fruity sausage roll.
It is, isn't it?
Oh my god.
Oh,
Amazing.
We did it. Well, it feels kind of nice. I wouldn't say any
Look
more
at
than that.
that.
We've got a bit of escapage, but really, you know, I'm not sure.
Seepage. Seepage.
Cranberry on the floor. Right, I'm going to turn it. Okay, so now we've got this huge, massive sausage roll thing, and we have to cut it into 10. So I'm thinking the best way to do that is like just.
You could measure it.
Well, I could measure it, but these end bits are going to be kind of a bit. I wonder if I should chop off the end bits to.
Don't know whether.
No, we'll just.
That'd be wastage.
Well, I'm just going to guess it and go half.
Guess it.
And then no, if it's 5, we can't quite do it like that, can we? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's about right, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. Oh, they're quite big. Right. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Right. Go with that. So we're cutting it into 10. So we slice.
First we clink.
So I don't know easy. That's probably the best way to do it, isn't it? Two. Three. Last one. 10.
Beautiful.
And now it's said to use, and I've got the most massive baking tray we had. Okay?
Yeah.
So we had interruption. Right. And then we place them into the baking tray about 1 centimetre apart. And the idea is that you want them to join up. So I'm judging 1 centimetre. I think that's about, I'm not very good with centimetres. Because if
1 centimetre, that's more like an inch.
that's not an inch. There we go. Do you think that looks about right? There we go. You want them to touch as they rise and cook, because then if they're all joined together, the edges are really soft when you pull them apart instead of being hard. So there we go. And I've got a swirl, look.
It's excellent. I don't ever recall you making these before.
No, I don't know that I have now that I'm doing it.
This is actually.
I'm tucking in a bit of apricot there.
Is this effectively a Danish but made with bread?
I think it probably is kind of like a Danish pastry, isn't it?
It's perfect for picnics.
It is.
Perfect for children's pack-ups.
Yeah.
Perfect for.
Because I guess you could vary what you put in as well. I would imagine there's lots of different variations.
I'm not sure I'd stick in beef mince though.
No.
Sautéed with onions.
No. I'm quite pleased with my swirls though. They look
Excellent
quite cool.
swirls.
Hang on.
I can't wait to see these babies cooked.
Get them a bit closer together. There we go. And I mean, it says it makes 10, but that obviously doesn't divide well.
So
So
tell you
I'm
what I'm
just
worried
going to
about.
have to. What are you worried about?
The fact that there's not very many.
There's not very many. This last one I'm gonna tuck in there because it's 10 and it doesn't divide, does it? And this last one's got a very bulbous end, so I'm just gonna chop that bit off like that. There we go. And I'm gonna tuck that one in there. Cool.
Beautiful.
So now we cover them again and we'll leave them for another 30 minutes to prove again.
See you in 30 minutes.
See you in 30 minutes. Welcome to the news, and these are this episode's headlines.
British knitting podcaster gets drawn in by cheap advertising in local yarn shop.
Scottish referendum stalls after lack of peanut butter in the north of England.
UK Customs suspect new smuggling ring after influx of woolen products to the UK.
Authorities were investigating disappearance of male knitters, well, the only male knitter in the Darlington area.
So, Kay.
See, I can't take my glasses off because they're real.
I think you should tell us all about the British knitting podcaster who got drawn into cheap advertising in a local yarn shop.
I think that's highly unfair, really.
To who? You or the local yarn shop? Or both?
Well, I went into my LYS last week. I've not been in for ages.
LYS?
Local yarn shop.
We'd never do that again.
Okay, I went into the wool shop in town, because that's what we would say, isn't it?
We'll call it a yarn shop, but never say LYS.
Okay, I won't, I'm sorry.
That's like going.
Okay, I went into the wool shop in town And I just went in for a chat with Chris because I've not seen her for ages. She's the owner of the shop. And I went up to the counter and they'd got something on the counter, and her daughter was in the shop as well, and her daughter was sat on the sofa and she was knitting another one of these things. And I just thought it was really cute. And that was obviously their ploy by putting this thing right on the counter. And the thing that they put on the counter is one of my finished objects, so shall I show?
Yes.
And here, he, she, whatever it is it's the little hedgehog.
What's she called?
Oh, I don't. Oh, Tinsel.
It's like a bauble.
Well, it is. Bryony called her Tinsel. I hope you can see that okay. Will they be able to see that okay?
Well, just
Okay.
hold it back here next to us.
Here she is. Shall I put it here, look?
It's Tinsel.
There we go. It's Tinsel the hedgehog. And they had them. She had them on the counter, and her daughter had knit one, and then
That's
she was.
quite cute.
It is quite cute, and she was knitting another one. So of course I got totally drawn into it.
It's like a Christmassy football.
Well, Bryony's kind of been playing with it like a football.
Excellent.
Actually. Yeah.
That's cool.
And this is the pattern. As far as I'm aware, I couldn't find it on Ravelry. It's the King Cole pattern, and it's, you know, really old. I think these are really old-fashioned looking patterns, but this is how they still produce them. And it's King Cole, and the yarn is Tinsel, chunky, pattern number 9015 if you're really interested. And it's got the very catchy name of Hedgehog, large, medium and small.
Excellent.
Well done for that naming. So here's all the little hedgehogs, and that's all the colours that you can get it in. I really wanted the purple because Bryony was purple, but they'd run out of purple, so I went for red, and there she is. And it was really, actually, I looked at this yarn and I said to Chris in the shop, I said, oh gosh, is it an absolute nightmare to knit with? And her daughter was knitting with it, and she said, actually it's not, it's alright. And it was alright, and it is just like Tinsel, really is. But
It
it's
is
very
quite
soft. It's not scratchy, it's very soft. So
you did say that when you came home. They've just done a number on me.
I did, and you know the ball. It's only one ball of wool, and there's enough to do a small one. I did the medium one, small, medium, and large.
Crumbs, how big's the large?
Well, it's bigger. It's bigger than that one. I know. I thought that was pretty big.
That'd be scary. Scary hedgehog.
Yeah, the small one. And it was really quick. I did it in a day, I think, and it just uses less than a ball of the Tinsel for the body, and then this is just some DK weight that I had in stash. So really quick, really cute knit, I thought.
Very nice.
Yeah. So it's not on Ravelry. I didn't put it on Ravelry only because I couldn't find the
Because
pattern.
you were ashamed.
I kind of was a bit ashamed because people were making fun of me for knitting with tinsel yarn. Oh, the lack of peanut butter. The Scottish referendum stalling because of lack of peanut butter. Tell us about that.
It is true. Yes, it's been a very interesting, what seems like, well, it has been 2 years, but it's only been in the last,
2 years.
how long have they been going on and on
right.
and on
In Scotland.
about it on the news?
The last probably 3 months in particular, isn't it?
I mean, I suspect it's the world over, but when the UK news channels get hold of a story, talk about flog it.
Yeah, I really have been.
Crumbs. So, yeah, it all came to a head on Thursday of this week.
Yeah.
And that also coincided with one of my treatment days. And what happens then, as we have found, is I wake up in the night and I'm like wide awake.
You can't sleep, can you?
And it's normally about 2 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it happened on Thursday night. So I came downstairs and I put on the telly, and first results were just coming in. So that was really interesting to watch, but I had to stop everything because I got a sudden urge to eat peanut butter.
And you haven't, and you love peanut butter, don't you?
I do.
And you haven't, I don't remember
I haven't had peanut butter since
since you
my
started
first operation this year.
April.
Yes,
Really?
yes.
Gosh.
So I have had no peanut butter from April until September.
I can't believe you even found any then in that case.
And there was not, when I was young, peanut butter was loved by all.
Gosh, I never had it.
And it wasn't that it was expensive, but it was bought rarely.
Yeah.
So you got very adept at getting every last drop out. And now I quite enjoy that process. It reminds me of being young. And so Kay always shouts at me for putting peanut butter pots back in the fridge that she says has nothing in. I say they do have something in. And I successfully made myself a peanut butter sandwich, and it tasted great. And I think that was a bit of a turning point for me on this cycle as well.
Yeah.
Because eating is always a challenge for the first 2 weeks following the 3-day full-on treatment, and that really has sort of kicked me off. Shortage of peanut butter. Well, it wasn't really a shortage. I just finished off the pot, and then the bread that Kay bought was just the best.
Was it?
Yeah, well, we've established this already. And we got some more, and we obviously had it with the bacon thing. We've nearly finished the damn loaf.
The one we bought yesterday?
Yeah, I've cut the thinnest slices I possibly could. Yeah, I know, we're going to need some more. So, yeah, I then did have a shortage. But Kay, luckily, was going out the next day.
So yes, and I popped to Marks and Spencer's
And she got me 2 types of peanut butter.
Because sometimes you like crunchy and sometimes you like smooth.
I do, it depends on... we established this, and this is the reason why we're talking about this. If you so choose, please go onto Instagram on the instruction of Kimmy Knits from Come Knit With Us, and post a picture of you with peanut butter.
Peanut butter selfie.
And you hash it, peanut butter selfie. Now, I did that. I looked this morning on peanut butter selfie, and Kim, I don't know if you realise this, but people have actually been doing this before you suggested it. So like
a bit worrying.
Ages ago, and some of them, I found one that was
dear,
quite
really?
hot.
Okay. We don't need those type of selfies.
Ooh. So yeah, that is the peanut butter story. I'm very interested in UK customs have been very worried about a new smuggling ring. We were visited by customs. The house was blooming, all sorts of things were seized. They thought we were trying to smuggle things into the country because strange knitted packages, strange soft packages, which I suppose could have been a kilo of whatever, have been arriving at the house.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Now there's just no physical way we can go through all of these.
No, and what
So Kay, show the pile.
I will get the pile.
I mean,
Here is the pile. This is the blanket square. So far, I know there's more on the way. Oh, we've got a Leaning Tower of Pisa thing happening, I think. So these are all the squares we've had so far. I mean, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? Can you believe all these squares? They're so squishy. And Bryony loves playing with them. I posted a couple of pictures of her just laying out all the different squares and just playing around with them. There's definitely going to be enough for 2 blankets, if not more. And like I said, there's more on the way. And I think, you know, I've decided that, I know we said there was no end date to this, but realistically, I think we're going to have to put an end date on it, because otherwise I'm just going to, you know, it's going to be like this.
yeah, I suppose what would be a shame, these are so amazing and we're so unbelievably blooming great. I mean, it's just amazing.
It is amazing, and you know, I
don't think what either of us would want is to get to the point of where we had too many. Too many,
that it just became a bit overwhelming.
Because we want to make this great.
Yeah, and I know I said that, you know, I could make a blanket and give it to charity with the rest. I don't really want to do that.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Because
you guys are doing this.
You've made them all. And
you're doing it for us, which
I
is
could
great.
never decide, you know, which ones go in a charity blanket, because I just couldn't. So I don't...
Put a time on it then,
so
woman.
I think what we'll say is the end of October. I'll close that thread at the end of October, and I'll take our address down as well at that point. So it still leaves you over a month.
Yeah, and by the way, what we're not saying is stop.
No.
Please, it's just so lovely. Especially now when I start to come out of the dark side. It's wonderful.
And
thank you enough.
what I've been doing, I've just, you know, unfortunately I've just not had the physical capacity to message everybody individually to thank you. So, but I have been taking a picture and I've been putting each square with the person's name linked on Ravelry in the blanket square thread.
Yeah, you must take this now as our thank you.
Yeah, oh gosh. Did I
because-
not say, oh my gosh, did I not say thank you?
No,
I mean,
I think you have a few times, but physically, obviously we've got a lot going on, and to be able to answer individual, or it's not answer, it's to thank people individually.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just
please forgive us for not doing that individually. I would love to, but it's just like you say, it's just the capacity of being able to do that. But I have made sure that I've photographed each one, and each person's name is linked on that thread. So if you want to know if your square's arrived, then just check that thread out every day when I get some, because it is kind of a daily event, isn't it? Then I'll post it in there. But this is the pile so far. I think there's 34, 35. I think it's around that number. Oh, the disappearance of the male knitter in the Darlington area.
Yeah, the only male knitter in Darlington. Although, please,
Well, we could be wrong.
Yeah, my story.
I don't know of any other male knitters in Darlington, but
Yeah, if you are a male knitter in Darlington, actually, you might be odd if you are a male knitter in Darlington. So maybe don't message me. No, I'm only joking. Yeah, disappearance of male knitter in Darlington. Basically, what happens is I go in for treatment, and then I come out of treatment, and it's truly awful for about a week and a half, and then slowly start to re-emerge. And the other problem I'm having is I'm getting collections, I think, of the bad stuff that they're injecting in my hands and things, and it's meaning it's just like my fingertips at the moment
they're really sore, aren't they?
Yeah, my fingertips hurt a little bit. And also I've been getting like blisters and stuff, so it's making it impossible to knit. Yeah, you're talking for me all the time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's making it really difficult for me to knit and stuff, and do very much with my hands. But then it is normally about this stage when things do start to die down a bit. So that's why last cycle, about in the 3rd week, I began to reappear, and similarly in this cycle, exactly the same thing has happened. So that's why about 2-3 days ago you start to see me a little bit again. I'm sorry for disappearing. I am still here, so please do keep sending messages and things, because it's great to see. And then if I've not been on for a while and I go on and see loads, it's really great, and it's just really great. It makes me happy, which is a good thing.
And we're just going into your last cycle now, aren't we?
Yeah, on Thursday, but we'll think about that on Thursday. So hopefully I'll have 3 really good days now. That's the plan anyway.
Sue mentioned to me, and she keeps sending me messages, Sue Loops keeps sending me messages saying, oh my gosh, have you seen how many members you've got in the group now? And I think last time I checked it was 934, something like that. And so I mean, it's unbelievable, really, isn't it? But we're rapidly approaching 1,000. I thought, well, we did something for 500, and I really want to do a similar sort of giveaway for 1,000. Just do a random draw of all the 1,000 group members and just give something away. So we're going to do that. The prize, I've actually ordered it and it hasn't arrived yet. So I'll talk about the prize next time. But I wanted it to be, it's some yarn, but I wanted it to be a local yarn to us here. Something that...
Have you contacted this woman yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
What I've done...
So be very loose on what you're saying now.
Yeah, I know, I've not said who it is. I've ordered a skein of this particular yarn because I wanted to have a look at it, is the first thing. So when it arrives, and I've looked at it and I've tried it out, and I know that it's lovely, which I think it looks lovely, then I'll take it from there, really. But I just wanted to let you know that we were rapidly approaching the 1,000, and we are going to do something when we hit the 1,000.
And it will be a super good giveaway if the woman plays ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we shall see. And then just the last thing I wanted to talk about was a new knit-along that we're going to be doing. Starting the 1st, I can put my piece of paper down, starting the 1st of October, and it'll run from the 1st of October through...
It's my birthday in October.
It is.
Yes.
Very early in October.
I have no idea what I want.
I've been asking him for
by the end of this week,
weeks.
I will have an idea.
So 1st of October we're going to start...
29 I am.
If you believe that, you believe anything.
That's a bit...
It's like saying I'm 22, isn't it?
Yeah.
Funny. So starting the 1st of October, running through till the end of December. So it's a nice long knit along, got plenty of time. And I say knit along, it's crochet as well, so it'll be a KALKAL, as they say, knit along, crochet along. And we're doing it jointly. We got asked by another podcaster if we wanted to run it jointly with them, and we were super thrilled because we love this podcast, and you know, we've been friends with them for a little while.
Yes.
And it's the Pen, Hook and Needles podcast with Talia and Marlisha. And they asked us if we wanted to do it. I think this is the 3rd year that they've run it in their group, and they just asked us this year if we wanted to do it jointly. So yay, we do.
Yeah.
So we're going to be running a toy knit along. So it's knit any toy you like, or crochet any toy you like. I'll open a chatter thread and a finished objects thread on the... Well, maybe I'll open the chatter thread straight away because you can talk about what you're going to do, and then I'll open the finished objects thread when we hit October. But you can't start it until 1st of October. But it's any toy you like, knit, crochet, and I know that Talia's got some crochet patterns out. There's obviously Mr. and Mrs. Bakery Bear, but it's any toy, anything, you know, there's so many out there, Rebecca Dangers and Jenna Krupa, and you know, anything you like, and Little Cotton Rabbits are all fabulous patterns. So we're going to be running that, and there's going to be prizes. So far, I'll give you an update on what the prizes are going to be next time. But so far, I've already got some existing yarn that was given to us to use as prizes. So I've got some hand spun, and I've got some hand dyed yarn. I'll make a bag, so I'll do a bag, and we'll probably give away a Bakery Bear t-shirt. And I'm sure there'll be other things. I mean, if you're a bag maker or you're a yarn dyer, if you want to send me something that we can use as a prize, then please feel free to do so. Our address is still up there in our group. It's just on a thread, a locked thread that says our address. So please, if you want to do that, that would be absolutely fabulous, you know, and we'll use them all as prizes for this knit along. So get thinking about what toys you're going to make. I'm going to do something super special.
Cool.
So that'll be exciting.
Finished?
And that's my last bit of news. Yes.
Okay. I need to don my glasses.
These are Bryony's play glasses. It's so funny.
These are my news glasses.
They actually really look like my real glasses, which is a little bit worrying.
So, in other news, absolutely amazed and delighted to see Peter Jackson. You know Peter Jackson, the amazing director who's done so many cool films, just doing The Hobbit at the moment with Martin Freeman, and who did The Great Lord of the Rings a few years ago. He's only started making knitting podcasts. I could not believe it. Could you believe it? No. So yeah, he's started making knitting podcasts. He's used one of his main characters from Lord of the Rings, which I think is a really cool idea. Perry Took. You remember Perry Took from Lord of the Rings? I'll put a picture up now so you can see him. Now he's changed a little bit. He's grown a beard. Hair's still pretty much the same, but here is how Perry looks now. And yeah, it's a new podcast. It's on YouTube. It's Dancing Geek, and if you like your podcast long and uncut, and each episode comes in about 3 parts, just like Lord of the Rings, then Dancing Geeks you go. Give him a go.
James is so mean.
In other news, one of my favourite programmes when I was growing up was Xena, Warrior Princess, or is it Princess Warrior?
Warrior Princess, isn't it?
Warrior Princess, Xena Warrior Princess. Do you remember it? If you don't, just Google it. Put in Xena Warrior Princess. She's only started doing podcasts. Now I jest.
Xena, I'm so sorry. Again,
Knitting Natter used to be around a little while ago, and then she stopped, much to our disgust. This was months prior to us ever doing anything. But yeah, we used to sit and watch. I remember the one where a mum was on as well, and Mum was great. Yeah. That was cool. But Xena's back.
Xena's back!
But the name has changed. It's Little Yellow Uke. And it's, Little Yellow Uke Crafts. And it's on Podcast Garden.
Yep. She's only done the one.
She's only done one episode. There's also... Now, the funny thing is, it's nothing like Xena Warrior Princess. Certainly not what I remember. Although Xena, it would be quite cool if you put on the Xena Warrior Princess outfit and podcast.
That would be cool.
That would be so cool. So please warn us. No, don't warn us.
No.
Tell us if you're going to do that. Because, yeah, we'll make sure we tell everyone to watch.
We will.
But yeah, please do check out Xena Warrior Princess.
Yeah, I mean, she's changed it from just knitting, because she does lots of other crafts as well, to all the other things that she does. She does amazing, like, is it called tatting? You always used to take the mick out of me, saying crochet was tatting.
Yes, that's right.
But this is actual tatting. It's kind of like lace making, but all sorts of things that she does now. And so she's back. So go watch her.
It's cool.
We love you, Xena. He's just making fun.
And here endeth the first Bakery Bears news.
So they've had their 30 minutes again, proving. So we're going to take off the top. And they have poofed up nicely. That one's come and curled a bit. That was my bother. That was the only bother, that they would come and curled a bit. And we're just going to stick them back again. There we go. Stick, stick. But they're all touching, which is good, and they'll rise even more when they come out of the oven. So let's pop them in. So it's 190 degrees. I'll tell you if that's Celsius, 190 Celsius, 375 Fahrenheit. Don't look in the oven, I've just cleaned it, but we don't need to do that.
I'm in the oven, I'm turning the dials.
Oh, right, okay. It says on it 20 to 25 minutes, but check after 15. If they're browning too much, just put some foil on them. So I'm going to pop them in.
Do they not get egg washed?
No, they don't get egg washed. You put a glaze on them when they come out.
Right.
So in they go. Good luck, little buns.
And how long are they in for?
20-25 minutes until they're golden brown. So they've had, I checked them at 15 minutes and turned them around, and they've had about 22 minutes now, and I've just checked them and they look done to me. So I'm going to take them off and let's see what we've got. Looks pretty good. And now they have a glaze to make them shiny, but we just leave them for a few minutes in the pan just to cool a little bit. I'll then transfer them onto, is it bubbling? Yeah, I know that one's kind of burst a bit.
That's a croissant.
It looks like it's a Chelsea croissant. But the rest look pretty good. So I'll give them a couple of minutes in there, and then I'll transfer the whole lot onto a cooling rack, and then I'll do the glaze. So now with Dan's help, we managed to get it onto the cooling rack without it all falling apart, which is always good. And then I've just made a little glaze from a tablespoon of apricot jam and just a splash of water. And I'm just going to paint this all over. And I just heated it in the microwave, that's why it's steaming. It's a little bit hot actually, but it'll be fine. And then we're just going to paint this all over them. This gives them a lovely shiny glaze, which is how you always see them. They're always really shiny. So you can see how nice and shiny that looks now.
But that will keep them stuck together as well. When it goes cold.
No, well, I don't think so. No, I think just the fact that they're cooked together will keep them together. And then you just tear them apart when you want to have one, but we'll get to that. So we just paint, make them all lovely and shiny. It does kind of transform them, I think, when you do this. Go down the sides. And actually Dan's just said he doesn't think I have ever made these, and I don't know that I have. I've made something similar, maybe it was hot cross buns I'm thinking of. There we go. So all glazed and lovely. Don't worry about drips. There we go. So I'll leave these to go cold, which will probably be about 30 minutes. Okay, so the very last bit, they're cooled, and then in my little bowl I've mixed 200 grams of icing sugar, the zest of another orange, and 2 tablespoons of water, just to make like this lovely sort of orangey sugar glaze. Not even a glaze, icing I mean, not a glaze. And I'm just going to drizzle it over. It's going to go all over the work surface and everything, but I'm just going to drizzle.
Drizzly, drizzly.
Drizzly, drizzly. And it's thick and thin and everything, but you know, it's homemade. We're not going for...
The best food is homemade.
I'm not going for a prize-winning bakery look away, which is probably a good thing. That one's got kind of a blob on. It's hard to get it, you know, without starting like not over the bun. It's hard to get a good... Looks kind of like modern art at the moment, doesn't it? And I suppose you could do whatever you wanted with this icing. It's entirely up to you. You could do, you know, I think that'll do.
I do.
Do you think that'll do?
I do.
And now you just just leave it to set. The icing will dry out and set because it's just water icing, so the water just dries out and it sets the icing. And that's it done.
Down by Rosemary and Cameron, she hands out the Bhagavad-gita. I see her around every couple days.
Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
Yeah.
Can I just get my drink while she starts telling you it's only just over there?
He must
Thanks.
drink and drink and drink again. Gosh, it's
Not
been-
alcohol.
No,
Sadly.
not a drop you've had.
No, and I'm off coffee as well, which is really
Yeah.
annoying.
His taste buds have kind of been all over the place. You know about the blankets that I'm knitting, the log cabin blankets? I mentioned it last time, and I'm actually knitting 2 of them. Some people have been...
That's not one, is it?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Some people have been confused, I think, on Instagram. They're like, oh, you know, because it's different yarns and things. But I'm knitting 2...
Is that Cascade 220?
No.
Oh, sorry.
This is Bryony's blanket, and this one I'm knitting out of King Cole bamboo cotton. It's 50-50 bamboo and cotton. It's a DK weight.
Very nice.
Yeah, and I'm just actually starting the edging on this one. I've knit 3 squares of this so far, so 1, 2 and 3. I'll hold it back here. And I realised that to actually start edging, I think I'm going to do 20 squares on each blanket. I'll have 40 squares to then all do the borders on, and I'm thinking I'm just never going to do that. So I am going to border them, I think, as I go, and just make sure that they do fit placement wise, the colours are okay as I go along. So I've just started doing the border on this one, and I'm bordering them in this cream colour. It's not white, it is cream.
It looks white to me.
It isn't white, I'm not doing white or black. Don't do white or black. Too harsh colours, I think. It's cream. It is cream. So that's the first one, and then the second one, I finished the 3rd square of this one a couple of days ago, and again I'll show you. This is the one that I've edged, that I bordered. This is going to be like the bottom left corner, and my edging, my border colour is soft sage. It's kind of like a greyish, pale greyish, greenish sort of colour. So that's the first one that's bordered. Number 2, and this is Cascade 220.
Is that's not bordered?
That's not bordered,
No,
no.
sorry.
I've only done the border on 1. And then this is the one that I finished the other night. So that's my 3 squares for that. One of them is bordered, so I think I'm going to go back now and do the borders on these and then start again with another square. Because I know Kim, hi Kim, is doing all her, knitting all her borders on now, and then it just struck me, like I say, if you've got 1 blanket, I think that's kind of fair enough, but the fact I've got 2 on the go, knitting borders on 40 squares, I think is just going to be the end of me. And all the colours that I'm using are on my Ravelry project page for that one. Okay, next in progress on my needles is some socks, and I started these because, again, Kim and Sam in their group Come Knit With Us. They do a fantastic podcast. We were watching it last night. I just laugh all the way through it. They're absolutely hilarious. I just love them. They've just started a knit along for Desert Vista Dye Works. Ooh, Yarn Escape. Desert Vista Dye Works, and I had 1 skein in my stash that was very kindly gifted to me from Ting Ting. Ting Ting sent it to me probably a couple of months ago now. So I've started some socks, and this is in the colourway. It's one of the zombie colourways, and it's Zombody Doodle Dandy. And it's got sparkles. I think the colours are fantastic. I love this purple. The purple stripe's my favourite, I think. So I've started those for the knit along, and it's running. Her knit along's running till the end of November. From now till the end of November. So if you've got any Desert Vista dye works, get knitting. It doesn't have to be socks, can be anything, but it's just got to be in that yarn. So that's that one. More socks. This is some socks for Dan. And this is with, again, this yarn was gifted to me very kindly by a lovely friend. And this is Osterman's.
As opposed to a horrible friend.
We don't have horrible friends.
No.
Well, she's a lovely friend. And this is Osterman's Step, because she knows I love Osterman's Step. And this is colourway 249. I think it's one of the Irish rainbow colours, which, oh, I've got them on. That I've knit before. So these ones are for Dan. So I cast these on a few days ago, and it's knitting up really lovely.
Apart from that pooling.
It's not really, well, it's not, I don't know. I've never had, it's strange, I've never had this kind of yarn opal or Osterman.
I don't mind pooling.
There's kind of done that, where you've got, normally it's, you know, in each stripe you'll get like variegation like this one, but, you know, it's not bothering me at the moment, you know, me and pooling, because it's in a stripe. I think that's why I'm kind of okay with it. So it's kind of teals and greens and yellowies and greys, really pretty. So I'm just doing my normal 72 stitch sock, down sock for that one. Okay, so next work in progress on my needles is my mittens. I'd not worked on these for a while. I'd sort of put them in hibernation, and then I thought, oh, do you know what, I'm going to go back to them and see if I can get them finished. So I finished one apart from the little thumb, and this is the, oh, got it wrong way now. This is the left one, so I'll pop it on just to show you, and I think they're absolutely fabulous. I hope you can see the cable down the side there. This is the Loch Lomond pattern by, I will tell you, it's Polka Dot Sheep, that's Kendra Hope. Loch Lomond. I mean, it's a really lovely pattern, it's well written, very clear. And like I say, I've just got the thumb to do, and what I really love about this pattern is I've knit quite a few mittens, but I love the thumb, the way that it's shaped. Can you see how she shaped it? So it comes like a V there on your thumb. I just think that's really pretty. And it's all ribbing. I think this is why I put it down, because it you know, it's not a really a very quick knit. You've got 2x2 rib, 1x1 rib, and then this lovely twisted cable that runs down the side. Really, I mean, I love them, and my first thought was I was going to give them away as a Christmas present, but actually I might keep them, because I just think they're so super nice. And the yarn I'm using is I've not got the ball band, but it's the Bijou Basin, and it's a sport weight, and it's yak and merino, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I have kind of an issue with alpaca. I love knitting with alpaca, but it does prickle on me, and I know quite a lot of people are like that, but this doesn't at all. It's really lovely, and it's beautiful to knit with. So that's my mittens. So, and I did cast on the other one as soon as I finished that. That's one of my rules when I'm doing two of something. Even if it's really late at night and I'm tired, I always cast on the second one and just do a couple of rows. Again, I started this a little while ago, and this is actually this is the yarn that I started my jewelled cowl with a little bit ago. And
those jewelled cowls get on my wig.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I really like the one I've got, but at the time when I cast this second one on...
Have you ripped it out?
Yeah.
Good call. Good call. One is enough. My
frame of mind just wasn't in that beading mode.
I don't think anyone needs more than one jewelled cowl.
No, I really love them. I'd love another one.
Why?
Because I really like wearing it. I think it's really pretty. Well, you obviously don't.
Well, no, it's all right. It's all right.
Okay. That's Dan's opinion on the jewel cowl, everybody.
I just think it ages you a little.
It ages me.
Yeah.
Does it? The lady in the post office said it was beautiful.
How old is she?
About 60.
There you go.
He's so mean.
Not that it's wrong and bad to be 60. There's not a problem with being 60.
Does that mean I look that way in all of my cowls?
No.
Just that one?
There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think you look 60 in it, but you probably look 43 in it.
I am 43.
But you don't look 43 normally.
Right, okay.
Does she?
Do I look 43?
No.
So, anyway, so this yarn again was gifted to me. I mean, it's just fabulous. And I am trying, you know, people are just sending us lots of fabulous things. And I want to use it. I don't want it to just sit there. I do want to use it. And, you know, just to show my appreciation more than anything. And also because it's beautiful yarn. And this one was gifted to me. And it's fabulous. It's Tanis Fibre Art, red label. And it's merino, cashmere and silk, single ply, fingering, but I'm holding it double. And I'm knitting this hat. Now there's a little story about this hat, only a short one. It's called the Back to School, back to School I think it's meant to be. And the lady who wrote it is not British or American, it's Julie Party. I don't know if she's maybe French, I'm not sure. But it's the Back to School hat, and I saw it and I thought, oh gosh, I love that, because this is like honey cowl. It's got this fabulous braid up the side, and I thought that's really pretty. Bought it and everything, printed it off, started knitting it, and then I was looking at the instructions for the pattern and I thought, why is it telling me to repeat the braid again on the other side? And then I realised that it actually runs over both sides, and obviously the idea, back to school, is that it looks like plaits coming down the side of your head. And I kind of thought, I mean, that, yeah, okay. Well, I wasn't mad keen on having plaits coming down the side of my hat, so I'm just doing one braid. So I think if you're going to buy the pattern, just be aware, because I don't think, to be honest, it shows that clearly on the pattern that the braid is down both sides. So saying that, I am this far into it, so I'm doing really well.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's very nice.
It's a really thick cable. It's a 6x6 crossed cable, which is quite tricky to do. It's, you know, because you've got 6 stitches crossing. It's, you know, it's not difficult, but you just have to take your time when you're doing those 6 stitches. And I'm not far off really. I mean, it says to knit to 7 inches, I think, or you can have it super slouchy to 11 inches. I won't be doing that. I'm not madly into really slouchy hats, so I'm not that far off. I'm about 5 inches. But it's really, I mean, I love the pattern and I love the honey cowl-ness of it, because I love honey cowl.
Drop a stitch.
Nearly dropped a stitch. So.
Do you want any short rows?
No short rows, no. But I love that cable. I think it's really, really nice.
Is that all, dear?
That's all my
Of your
works.
what's on your needles?
That's all of my what's on my needles.
So it's time for me, and now we're changing things up. We have new sections in our show, as you've already found out, in What's in Your Oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to be challenging people to see what's in their oven yet, because we're actually going to throw that open to everyone. And we'll speak about that some more in a minute. But what I would like to do is, instead of just asking what's on your needles, is also ask what's off your needles, and also ask a question that's going to come with another of our new segments, which is coming later. So I'll be asking one person from each of those sections, so that'll be the 3 normal people. So who am I asking what's on your needles? Well, it's very difficult for me, as we've said, to pick out. We've had so many amazing things, and it's just been just so great, and it really brightened up what has been a tremendously dark time for us and for me. So yeah, please, I've got one more cycle, do carry on if you so choose. But to all those people who've sent things so far, as we've said already, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I must pick out one though, and the reason why, you'll see why I'm picking out this one particular person, because Bryony and I a little while ago started to film something called How Did Obi-Wan Kenitta Become Obi-Wan Kenitta?
Oh, yeah.
And we were just playing around with different things and having a bit of a laugh. And I never said it to anyone, but I always sort of wondered how he did become Obi-Wan Kenitta. Well, Pearl Squire has shown us how. Look, there he is.
Look, there he is.
Instead of a lightsaber, he, or should I say I, has knitting needles.
Knitting.
Um,
And she's even knit a few stitches on these tiny needles.
and what I love is she's put short rows in. No, you haven't, Pearl, at all. Pearl lives in Woomera.
Woomera was probably still
Woomera,
saying it wrong, Pearl.
in Australia, which is Tatooine. It looks just like Tatooine
does,
if you look at it on
yeah.
Google Earth. So Pearl Squire, what's on your numbers?
Yay!
Get over to the thread and show us right now. Now, I've been waiting for this moment for a while because something sat next to me that I want. It's time to go back to Bryony and me for a taste test of Kay's buns.
Should pull apart.
This is the moment of truth, folks. Gently ease, ease and pull. Perfect.
Oh, look at that!
There it is. So, who's on here? Look. This food is Kay's.
Well, why are you eating it then, is the question.
Why am I eating it? I'm not going to be eating it. Bryony is. Here we go.
Brian's
So we're
a
going
little worried.
to cut it up into 4. I'll try not to squash it though.
Yeah, I should have given you a serrated knife, I think, shouldn't I? Yeah, it's okay. What do you mean?
Fine. Okay, so over to Bryony for the taste test. Brian's going to eat.
Here's Bryony.
Brian's going to eat that bit, and then you're going to mark it out
I
of
thought
10.
you said that bit.
No, eat that bit. Don't need to finger the bits you're not going to eat. That's the bit. Go for it. Pardon me.
Go on, Bryony, try it.
Yes. Rocket. Oh,
Yay.
wow. Chew it, baby. What taste do you
What
get?
was that jam?
It was orange icing.
That's what I can taste.
You can taste orange. What else can you taste?
You've never had a Chelsea bun before.
Okay. Was there raisin?
Yeah, well, sultanas, yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's probably the best we're going to get, isn't it? 10.
So Bryony is now going to score the Chelsea bun out of 10.
I don't know, 5 or 6.
5 or 6, not bad. Do you need a drink, honey? And what do you do with your drink? Is this for Kim?
Go on and do it.
Say
Sippy.
Okay.
Okay, so on the great first Bakery Bears Bake Off, the Chelsea bun from Bryony scores 5 out of 10. If you're looking for something for a picnic or a breakfast on a morning or a tea time snack or really any time, it's pretty perfect. And how difficult a bake was it, Kate?
Not very, really, I don't think, if you follow the instructions.
For difficulty, if you sort of beginner, intermediate, advanced.
4 or 5, maybe.
But if it's for beginner, intermediate, advanced, what would you say?
Intermediate. That's it.
Good for an intermediate baker, but I think even a beginner, I think even I could have.
You could have a go,
Could
yeah.
have a go. So, I think it's back to us on the sofa. Bryony scored 5 out of 10. Feeble.
Actually, for Bryony, that's not a bad score.
No, it isn't a bad score. She's never tried one before in her life.
No.
I just want to say that last night I ate 2 of these back to back.
You did.
I don't think Kay could eat one of them.
I haven't. I've only had one little bite.
Talk
so
about your
far.
buns for a bit.
Well, I think they came out really nice. And I didn't try one. I tried one after we finished making them yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh, tastes really good.
They're so good.
They are really good.
Now, the recipe, I put the link to the recipe in the notes underneath. Please make these.
Give it a go, really.
Even a beginner baker.
Yeah, I really think you could. The instructions are really clear, and I think it is worth the while. I mean, it's a bread dough, so you've got to leave it to rise, so you need set a couple of hours
It's not
aside.
difficult.
It's not difficult, no.
Stick it in a bowl, cover it with film.
It's not difficult, and it's really nice. And I do think, because I said at the time, to be great for Christmas, and you said to me, "Oh, we're going to wait till Christmas to get some more."
No, I'm making
They're
myself.
really worth making if you like anything sort of morning pastry type things.
It's better than a morning pastry.
Yeah, I was.
It's not as. When I have a morning pastry, I feel a bit fatty afterwards.
Yeah, it's not like because the croissant and things like that are pastry, whereas this is a bread dough. So I think that's why it's.
And we were saying you
feel
could slice it down the middle and butter it,
You could.
and it would work as well.
I think, yeah.
It's delicious. So go make some,
Go make some.
and then you can post them. If you post them on Instagram, and if you hashtag it Bears Bake Off,
Bears Bake Off.
and also if you post it on the episode thread.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we won't have a separate thread for this. Or I don't know if we should.
A baking thread. Well, maybe
Because
we
there'll be a build-up of it and there'll be loads of
Maybe
great
we
pictures.
should. Yeah.
We'll stick a baking thread on that,
Yeah.
a Bears Bake Off thread
Bears
on.
Bake Off thread.
And please go on there, because they could ask questions on there too.
Could ask questions.
You
Yeah,
could
and
pose-
I'm by no means an expert, but I do watch quite a lot of cookery shows and read a lot of cookery books, and I kind of pay attention, and I do, even if I've not done something, I might have read about something.
And
if that
we
makes
must
sense.
say to people who haven't baked like this before, where you've got all the raw ingredients,
Yeah.
nothing is coming out pre-made from a packet.
No.
It tastes so different.
Yeah.
We can buy packet mixes here too,
Yeah.
and we used to with the girls when they were young, and they're nice. It does not taste like homemade.
No.
The other thing as well, you'll feel amazing, even if it doesn't come out quite right.
Doesn't matter, you know.
It doesn't matter.
we're-
And post those pictures
No, it doesn't matter.
because it'll be so fun to see those.
I want to see your Chelsea buns.
So post your pictures, no matter how good or bad you think they might be, and also as well, give them to your family. Let us know how they scored.
Yeah.
And then maybe over the course of a few episodes, we'll have like a leaderboard, and we'll see where different things come on that leaderboard.
I'd love, you know, and even things like, I'd love some people in America, if you fancy having a go, I'd love to see people making these for like Thanksgiving morning and things, because I think they'd be fabulous.
Yeah.
Because of, you know, there's cranberries and there's cinnamon. It's got those orange. It's got those kinds of flavours that make me think of Christmas and, you know, Thanksgiving, now that we know so many
Yeah,
lovely Americans.
but
so-
also English people, go for it too.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in Chelsea.
If you're in Chelsea, that would be so
So,
cool.
Chelsea Bun, episode 10, is done. And
Yay.
please, everyone, go and post your pictures of your Chelsea Buns on Instagram
Yeah.
or in our thread.
Yep, I'll open the thread.
And who knows what we'll be doing next episode.
Next time, who
Haven't
knows?
decided yet.
Okay.
What's off your noodles?
Yay! A few things actually. The first thing I can't show you, so I'll just do it quickly. I finished a gift knit for Sally. Knows it's for her. It's for you, Sally. So I'm not going to take it out and show you, obviously. But what I'll do is I'll take pictures of it, and then when she gets it, which won't be till early December probably, then you know, I can put some pictures in the episode wherever we're at. So I really hope you like it, Sally. I love it. I wanted to keep it. So that's the first thing.
I can't believe you knit her a woolen bra. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say.
Yeah. Second thing.
Imagine a woolly bra.
A woolly bra. Well, it'd be okay if it was like cashmere and silk, wouldn't it?
It'd be a bit warm.
Well, it would be, but it'd be alright in the winter. It wouldn't be very supportive, I would have thought, though. And now we got onto that subject. So I finished Dan's socks, and I finished these a little while ago, but I've just not let him wear them. I wanted to keep
Just going
them.
to wash my sticky fingers.
Oh, go on then. I've not let him wear them because I washed them. I wanted them all nice and lovely, just to show you before he wears them. So there's his huge socks, and that was the Opal Sweet and Spicy. I can't remember the colourway number, it's on my project page, but I think it was peppercorns. No, star anise, wasn't it? Peppercorns is a different one I've got. I think it was star anise. So that's Dan's socks all done. So you can wear those now. So that's Dan's socks finished. And then I finished my trillion. Da, da, da. Oops. Finished the trillion. Look at that. And I've worn it a couple of times. Came out lovely in the end, and I'm ignoring the pooling. I'm not looking at it, and when it's round my neck I can't see it anyway, so that's pretty cool. And somebody said to me it's funny that no matter what people...
No matter.
I know, I just realised I said matter.
She's gone all London.
I've gone all London.
Because Chelsea Buns.
Yeah.
No matter.
No matter what you knit with socks that rock, it tends to pull somewhere, and I've only ever knit this with socks that rock, so I can't comment on that, but I have seen a lot of socks that pull with it. But I think it came out beautiful anyway, and I was really pleased, and it kind of matches lots of things because it's got lots of colours in. It kind of matches my new little cat sweater that I bought. Sweater? I'm turning American. My jumper.
Well, sweater's not American. I would call it a sweater.
I know, but sweater.
It's the
An
sweater
American,
shop.
I think in America you would call a cardigan a sweater, wouldn't you? Is that right? Am I right? I'm probably totally wrong now, but
I think you're generalising.
jumper and a cardigan, I would say. Right, okay. So, trillion done, finished, and I think I had about 4 grams left, so I was pleased with that. So that one's all done. And then, look at little pumpkini. I knit this for Bryony a week or so ago, I think, and I saw the pattern. It's a Susan Claudino pattern, no knit Sherlock. She is on Ravelry and Instagram. And her little button's coming undone. I'm going to have to glue that. She does say on the pattern you can glue it. And I saw this and I thought, oh, I've got to knit it for Bryony.
Knit it.
I know, what's going on?
Gotta knit it.
I'm a bit tired today.
Too many times talking to the neighbours.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about the dogs you can hear barking. They're not our dogs. Not our dogs, Denise.
Kay asked the neighbours to move their car the other day and we couldn't possibly tell you what happened.
I can't.
They did move it though.
They've started parking their car kind of on our drive. I mean,
Highly frustrating.
I'm not going to go into this whole long story, but I asked one of the daughters politely and, well...
And the other one shouted from within the house, very politely, what do you want? I'm currently sat on the toilet doing my business.
But that's not what she said.
She used a one-word answer, which was rather graphic.
I mean, yeah. Anyway,
Beautiful!
we love our neighbours.
So it was funny last night, we were watching Downton last night.
Haha!
And I started laughing and Kay said, why is that? And I said, I've just got to go for the word that the lady next door used. We don't use
It's not
that
a word we would ever use. No, awful. Anyway, back to little Patch. The pattern's called Patch, Susan Claudino, and she's just opened a Ravelry group, Susan Claudino Designs, so go join. She's doing a knit along at the moment for any of her patterns, and if you knit a patch, you get to enter twice into the knit along. So I have done that very thing. And I knit my little patch. O'Brien christened her Pumpkini, which I think is a super cute name. And I knit her just from scraps. This is the Plucky Knitter. She's a very posh little pumpkin. The Plucky Knitter left over from the cardigan that I knit. It's Primo Aaron in the, can't remember the colourway.
Oh, that's a great name for a colourway.
Yeah.
Someone bring out a colourway called, can't remember the colourway.
Sweet Nothings. Sweet Nothings. Some Malabrigo worsted. I can't speak today. Malabrigo worsted for the little leaf hands and feet. And then this I dyed myself. I didn't have an orange. I'm not a great orange person, so I didn't have any orange in stash. And I've got some, it's Knit Picks undyed worsted weight. I can't remember, it's just 100% wool. So I dyed up a little bit and I dyed it with yellow first, and then I over dyed it with some orange, kettle dyed, and I think it came out really nicely.
Lovely.
So there's little Pumpkini. Bryony absolutely loves that little thing. I cannot tell you. She just takes it everywhere with her.
Have we covered all our what's off your needles?
One,
I hope
no,
so.
just two very last things. I dyed some more yarn. This is some yarn that my friend Jen gifted me at, I think it was Christmas, Jen, was it? I think it was Christmas. And it's Silver Sparkle sock. It's merino, nylon and some stellina, and I was kind of waiting for the right colour. I couldn't decide what colour to do, and then, you know, I've had this whole chats with gold thing going on. I thought, oh, I'm going to have a go at dyeing up something in a gold colour. So again, I kettle dyed it, but it came out a little splotchy. But I'll absolutely still use it for some beautiful socks, I think, probably.
And
So
what else?
that's that. And then finally, I made myself a Kindle cover. I sewed myself a little padded Kindle cover, and I love it. I think it came out really cute. I just made it up. I just made the pattern up. I just measured my Kindle, measured the, couple of pieces of fabric, lined it with kind of really the fleece that I use for all my bags, and that's my little Kindle cover. Can't say that very well.
No, it's a bit worried about.
Yeah, I know what I was going to say then. So, yay! Love that. And I was going to make some for the shop, but I didn't get around to it this update.
So I need to ask, the very first someone, what's off your needles? And the reason why I'm picking this person is because as you found out with our favourite places to knit, which we have, we've not finished with favourite places to knit.
No.
We're just pausing. So who is it? Well, the reason why I'm picking this person, as the postman shoves through some more knitted products
Shall I
through
go
our
have
door.
a look while you talk?
You can do. The person I'm selecting, the reason why I'm selecting them is their husband often posts great pictures of many of the places which we have visited, but also some places which we haven't visited that look seriously cool. So who is it? It's Sarah Hepworth. Sarah, what's off your needles? Please get along to the thread and show us all. We all want to see what's off your needles. You make some amazing things. Post great pictures on Instagram, folks. If you haven't, look for Sarah Hepworth. I'm sure that's your name on Instagram. What I'd really like to do, I've had a few people request me to talk about music a little bit. And so we're going to introduce a whole new section, and that new section is what's on your stereo. Or it could be what's on your playlist. It could be really anything that you're listening to at the moment and you're enjoying. I think we'd like to know about it, because then we could give it a go.
We would.
And we could see if we like it too. And the great thing about music is everyone's got different tastes. I'd like to talk to you about one or two of the things that inspired me. And the first one, it's been great. I've loved doing this actually. And I think for me at the moment, I'm rediscovering an awful lot of things which have laid dormant for too long, and I've let them lay dormant. You know, the guy that Kay met and married was not the guy that sat here for many reasons.
Is it not?
Well, obviously not for health reasons at this moment in time, but over the last few years, as you've probably picked up, we've been running our own business, and whilst that business is music, I've never played less than I do right now. And I think when something like this health-wise happens to you, you start to reassess quite a few things. You start to realise some of the important things. And I can't change the fact I'm a musician. I can't change the fact that it's part of who I am, and I'm going to get back to. In fact, I want to get way better than I was before. I've always never been as good as I could be.
Well, I've always thought you were amazing, and I remember, I remember when I first met Dan. We met in the bank. We both worked in the bank, but we went out for a night out, didn't we? I won't go into the ins and outs. It was a meeting. We were all there for a meeting, and we all went out for a meal. And I ended up sat next to you. And I was just talking to you, and you were telling me that you played the drums, and I was absolutely blown away. You know, I was totally bowled over by you, and I'll say that. And then I heard you play pretty soon after, wasn't it? Because you did a lot of theatre work and gigs and things. You played in various bands, didn't you? Function bands and things. And I was like, oh my gosh, I thought you were amazing. I still think you're amazing.
Enough talking though. You want to hear some music, so I'm going to play you a little bit of the song. I'll start it now actually. I'm sort of embarrassed.
I'm quite embarrassed that this is the song that inspired you to drum.
Well, you'll hear in a minute the reason why.
Because the drums.
It's the song. Well, yeah, it's the song that really inspired me. It's the only song of theirs that I ever listened to. Does anyone know what it is yet? Kay does. Here we go. See, I love this. I used to play my bed.
You used to play in your bed.
Yeah, in my bed. But then when the guitar bit comes in, it's pretty cool. That bit's quite cool, but then this bit now, this is the reason why I drum. It's coming up now. Here we go. Can you believe it? So that is Money for Nothing, Dire Straits.
I'm going to have that in my head all day.
I used to be upstairs in my brother's bedroom with an LP with a record.
An LP, yeah.
On an old place. So I wasn't actually playing my bed, I was playing my brother's bed, whacking away. I'll have been about 9 or 10, and that's when the seed for drumming was planted. So from there, where did I go? The direction I went, which was completely new for my family, none of my family were into this. I saw a film, and I think Cindy Lane actually posted a Lego clip of this film, which was just amazing. I'll play it for you now. And this was my favourite song of theirs. Although I've still got all the music, I still listen to it now. Who knows this? Oh yeah, this is great. Starring Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. It is, of course, the Blues Brothers.
I never saw it.
They formed a band that was real musicians. The film was so successful, they released some albums, they did some tours, and that's one of the songs off one of their albums. Totally loved the Blues Brothers. That really took my love of drumming and took it on to the next stage, because the drumming on there is phenomenal. It's a guy called Steve Jordan who now plays with James Taylor, and he's just phenomenal. Great drumming, unlike Money for Nothing, where the drumming was a little bit Route 1, but at the time I didn't know anything. The other direction I went in, though, as we established yesterday, I put this on for Kay and you knew it straight away, which I was super impressed at. I don't know if anyone will know this. I bet you someone will remember this, certainly in Europe. Here it comes.
Makes me want to knit really fast.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second. That is Hooked on Classics, parts 1 and 2, and it's the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. It's off the album Hooked on Classics. They're on iTunes actually, so you can go get these. I used to, my dad bought these, and it was totally because he was into theatre stuff. Because you can sort of see there, it's got like the strings and the orchestral side, which you get quite a lot in theatres, but you've also got the sort of poppy element to it, which was so popular in the 80s. I mean, Hooked on Classics were everywhere.
Yeah.
And I used to play it on the stereo, I used to nick it out of the car when we used to go on holiday, and I remember being on a campsite in somewhere in France, and I remember having it on and just walking around the campsite. Absolutely loved it. So that really took me on as well. But what I really wanted to talk about in this section, and I think that it would be cool to get your opinion on this as well, even though you don't really listen to stuff when you knit, but what would be good to listen to and knit to?
And knit too, that's a good question, isn't it?
Now, I've done a little bit of testing of this.
Right.
Your heart rate tends to run at the same rate as the music you're listening to.
Oh gosh, right.
And I think you knit at a similar rate to your heart rate.
You probably do.
And I link that directly to drumming, because you tend to drum at the rate your heart's going. So you have to control your heart rate when you're playing songs. And when you find drummers and bands speeding up, it's normally because they're getting excited. Their heart rate's speeding up, so you have to work harder to hold it back. So music to knit to needs to be steady. Now I tried knitting to this, and it worked great. I can slicken this up. Here we go.
I know this song. Why do I know this?
So,
Film.
I'm sure it probably has been used in films. Who recognises this?
I think this was on something, a Jane Austen type film.
You see, I think this would be perfect. This would be perfect for knitting something quite complex that you have to think about.
Lace knitting, it'd be brilliant.
Lace knitting.
Yeah.
It's not going to drive your stitches on because your heart rate's not going to increase. It's going to keep you very chilled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Now, if you're doing straight,
What I'm doing now.
yeah, straight stitch, what you want is...
Straight stitch?
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
a new one.
No, tell me.
Garter stitch.
Garter stitch, you just want to get it done. So off the same album, I'll tell you what the album is in a minute. This is what you want. Go, go, go.
Go, go.
So your heart rate's going to increase. It's going to get you through that garter stitch quicker, and you're going to be finished before you know it. Now this is Rachmaninoff's Rhapsody on the theme of Paganini. And the reason why I selected this was I really got in the zone of music I was into when I was young, and this was one of those things. Hooked on Classics led me into Rachmaninoff, and Rhapsody on the theme of Paganini, I would challenge anyone to listen to that, whether they were a lover of classical music or not, and not enjoy it. I think classical music, as in any music, it's all about finding the routine.
It is.
Just like knitting. So start with a bit of Hooked on Classics, get the first album, and then who knows where you'll go from there. The last thing I want to talk about in this section is new music. And this is what I alluded to at the start. And we want to learn, don't we? All of us would like to learn what each of us is listening to, so we can maybe try it out and see what we think as well. The band I want to maybe tell you guys about that maybe you don't know about is a band called Bellowhead.
I knew you were going to say that.
Now Kay and I were watching Sunday night at... No, it wasn't Sunday night wedding, it was...
Some folk something.
No, it was the Proms.
Oh, it was the proms.
And these guys came on, and we thought, we're not going to like them. Just have a listen.
We did.
Beautiful, my true love, she was fair. Her eyes were like the diamonds, bright and golden was her hair. And golden was her hair, my lads, the picture left the pain.
I love this song.
She said, remember me 10,000 miles away. And sing golden inside home, rolling I will go. I'm still on shore.
Why I love this is when you see them live, these
Amazing,
guys
actually.
and girls are outstanding.
Yeah.
They take instruments like cellos, tubas, trombones, violins. The drummer, when we saw them, was actually playing a kit made up of, he had a pot of cutlery, which he was hitting as a hi-hat. He'd basically taken junk percussion, but made it so unbelievably mainstream. Now he does use a real kit, but the rest of the band still play all these amazing instruments. And what they do is they take folk songs, so English folk songs, indigenous English music, and they make it sound like this. Now, this song, it's a sea shanty.
Sea shanty.
And you know, you have to be a particular type of person to really appreciate a sea shanty.
Yeah.
So what you find is in this country that not many people really get that anymore. These guys have taken it and made it contemporary. That's exceptional. Another song I love of theirs, because they do slow ones as well.
Everybody's running out now to download it.
I hope so. It's a great song. This is another song written like 200 years ago. They're so clever because there's no bass player in there. That's a tuba making the bass sound.
So far away as I walked over each acre, I never knew what it was to sigh till I saw Betsy Baker. At church I met her dress on me one Sunday weather.
Exceptional band, and you can download it on iTunes. So it's Bellowhead, Bellowhead. Go and try those two songs that I just played. Was 10,000 Miles Away and Betsy Baker. So I think it'll cost you 79 cents or 99p in this country to get those two songs. Just get those two, give them a go, and let me know what you think.
Let us know what you think.
So I'm going to start a thread. What's on your stereo? To get that thread going, what would be cool is if you could post a picture of, if you have iTunes or some sort of digital player, post a picture of your favourite playlist or your favourite band album, or if you don't have that, just take a picture of your favourite album and go and post it in there. But we need to ask someone what's on their stereo.
What's on their stereo?
Now then,
You're gonna ask.
I have the perfect person to ask. Because I was absolutely thrilled to find out that this person was a musician, is also a singer, has a great podcast that I found first.
I don't know who you're talking to.
Celtic Lucas, what's on your stereo? I think I might have a feeling, because you've been posting things about music recently, and that's what made me, but also it's the reason that I've said, which you're a musician, you're a singer.
He sings. You sing.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
yeah, it's a very good singer, I'm told.
Wow.
But we want to know what is on, and what would be good actually is, I bet you have an amazing playlist of something that you put on in the car, or you know, when you're crocheting, when you're making your great Ami
eyes.
Ami eyes. So Celtic Lucas, what's on your stereo? Go and show us right now.
Yay!
And I think that's us done.
That was fun. I like music.
Hope you like music. It's the first go at music, so it'll get more flowy as we progress. But yeah, let's. I'd really love to find out what people enjoy listening to. I mean, music, as you probably.
I know Darren from Knitting in Circles and Amy. They're always going off to
gigs.
To gigs.
Yeah. Give us some recommendations of you know, tunes to download, and you know, you've got a feeling now of the roots of my love of music. Trust me, it improves from.
You don't want to know what mine are.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out over the course of the next few episodes. And you've probably noticed the music on this week's episode has been different. People have been nagging me for a couple of things. The first thing is they wanted to hear me drumming. Well, now you have. The music throughout this episode has been me drumming, and also it's me singing as well.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Which one was it?
Well, you'll have to watch the episode to find out.
I can't believe he's done that.
And the other thing that someone asked me to do was, it was Susan Claudino and someone on one of her threads, or I don't know if it was, but
Could have been. It wasn't Michelle from Dancing Dog Dieworks? No.
Oh, it might have been Michelle from Dancing Dog Dieworks. Actually, yes, it may well have been Michelle. We got talking about the A-Team.
Oh.
And someone asked me on the podcast to say, I ain't getting on no plane, sucker.
Why?
I don't know why. Did that sound slightly American, or did it sound English?
Good. It sounded English.
Excellent, because it was supposed to. I think if I
ain't getting on no plane, sucker.
I ain't getting on no plane, sucker.
It sounded very English.
Mr. T is on TV in this country at the moment, doing a really
hilarious,
funny programme. I was sat on the sofa, and I've been in a bad way. I sat on the sofa the other day.
I was putting Bryony to bed.
I was putting Bryony to bed, and this programme came on, and I just started laughing my head off. Kate thought I was crying.
Thought he was crying.
So she comes downstairs all worried.
He'd had such an awful week, and I was sat up there,
and I was
putting Bryony to bed, and I thought, oh my gosh, he's crying.
And I'm wetting my pants watching.
I came downstairs, I was like, oh, are you alright?
Yeah, I'm laughing.
And he was laughing his head off.
It's I can't remember.
The ups and downs, let me tell you.
The Planet's Craziest Fools, it's called.
You're right, yeah. It's a bit like Who's Been Framed kind
but
of
it's
thing.
better.
Oh, right.
It's better because I think it's not like home videos. It's there's lots of CCTV and all sorts. Anything else then?
I have some little purchases that I made. This first one, I saw this colourway a few weeks ago on, I think somebody was knitting it on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I've got to get that colourway because of the name, and it's 88 miles per hour. And anybody that knows Dan knows that your favourite film is?
Star Trek Insurrection.
We know it's not. We know it's Back to the Future. So 88 miles per hour, and I didn't get it because I didn't order it at the time, only because although the yarn is very well priced, the shipping from America, just makes it.
As so many people have found now. Thank you so much again for the squares and the sweets and the mugs.
Yeah, and I think if you were just posting a blanket square, I don't think it's too bad. But everybody's been so lovely and added in extra things.
I'm set for Sour Patch Kids for the next 48 years, and anyone who knows me will know that makes me very happy because I don't need to worry about going to the shops anymore.
But please don't feel you have to do that. I know it's expensive, so we're more than grateful for just a blanket square.
Certainly wouldn't want anyone to think, though, I wasn't appreciative
of all the sweets. So, like I said, I didn't buy it at the time because the shipping just makes it a very expensive skein of yarn. But in the end, I saw this and I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to get it because, like I said, I don't buy very often from America. And because this was just so personal to Dan, I just thought I've got to get it. So I did order it. and it's the house gnome, so it's merino nylon, 460 yards, so it's good yardage for socks for you. So have that, and they'll be on the needles fairly soon. And then I've been kind of looking around for British dyers, and I came across a couple, and one of them is Eden Yarns, and she's got, I don't know if it is an Etsy shop, it's edenyarns.com, and I found she does these fabulous self-striking yarns that come with this little mini, and I love the way that she balls them up. I mean, it must be on some sort of ball winder, but it doesn't end up looking like, you know, your normal caked up yarn. And this is super pretty, and this is her turquoise, I can never say that word. Did I say that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Turquoise 2-stripe. So it's turquoise, and then the other stripe is like, it's got purples and yellow in it, and the little mini, and I think that's so sweet. So I got that one, and then she also did at the same time, I wasn't going to get this, but I saw it and I thought, oh, I've got to get that. The colourway name of this one is K. Well, I had to get it, didn't I? And this is 100% Polworth. Polworth. 4-ply fingering, 437 yards, and I've never knit with Polworth. I can't get words out today. And I think I'll just make socks with it. It's variegated, and looking at the pictures of people that have knit with this, it doesn't look like it pulls to me. So I think I'm going to knit socks, and I've never knit socks with Polworth, and I'm hoping it's going to be tough enough. It feels kind of like a BFL, so I'm hoping it'll be okay. So I got that one, and the final one I got is, this is another local dyer, and it's Fab Funky Fibres. It is an Etsy shop, this one, Fab Funky Fibres.
You weren't very impressed with the packaging though, were you?
Well, honestly, no.
I think that you buy a lot of yarn, and there's a certain standard that you sort of got to hit.
And,
so.
and also as someone that, you know, I sell things on Etsy now, don't I? And
Well,
I like to
it wasn't
package
cheap either,
things.
was it?
Wasn't cheap. It was, if you compare, I think this self-striping, I think, was £15 for this. This was 20. Plus I bought a mini from her, which, looking at the picture, when I looked at the picture, I thought it would match the orange in there, and it actually doesn't match. It's a different shade of orange. And that was £3.75 for the mini, so that makes that a very expensive skein. And it was, you know, I don't like dissing people, but you know, it's a lot of money to spend, and if you're going to spend it, you know, I know it's not all on the packaging, but it was just inside a plastic bag. It wasn't wrapped separately, and there was no note or anything like that. It's just not the way I would have done it, but you know, I'll give it a go. So this one is a self-striping, and it's called Double Bubble. It's merino nylon, 425 metres, 464 yards, so it's good yardage, and she splits it into two 50-gram skeins, which I quite like. And I got a little orange mini that was, like I say, I was hoping would match, and it doesn't quite match, and that kind of bugs me, but you know, I'll give it a go. And that's it.
We're done. So here endeth the lesson.
Yeah.
Go forth, my children, knit, bake,
Listen to music.
listen to music, and share all with all of us. And I would suspect we'll see you in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because we made a grave error last episode, and I'll apologise now. I shouldn't have.
No, you weren't on form.
We shouldn't have podcast.
No.
But at the time, we didn't know when I would feel better.
No, that's true.
And now we do. So we know in 3 weeks' time, no matter how tough the next 2 weeks are, I'm going to be feeling better. So
and then fingers crossed.
3 to 4 weeks
the end.
at worst, we'll see you again.
Yeah.
So take care. Lots of music, please. Lots of sharing, and I want to see cakes.
I want to eat cakes. I've not had any yet.
Show me cakes. Let them eat cake. Who said that? It's a quiz. Post your answer in the thread below. And we'll see you on episode 11. Cheerio.
I wanna be, but you're stuck in a hole, and I want you to get out. I don't know what there is to see, but I know it's time for you to leave. We're all just pushing along, trying to figure it out.